seperti yang saya maklumkan sebelum ni, kita tengok pada sebelum ni saya dah ada sharekan beberapa contoh kertas exam exam question yang sebelum-sebelum ni untuk tahun 2000 semester 2 2017-18 dan juga semester 2 18 dan 19 lah. Untuk final exam untuk final exam untuk jauh kita gunakan metod yang sama lah dengan ujian nanti, tapi tak lama macam yang hari tu lah. Untuk ujian nanti kita bagi 12 jam, 12 jam ke 24 jam, saya rasa 24 jam kan, tapi untuk test mungkin kita akan bagi dalam 5 jam. Maknanya summation punya method, maknanya take away, you dapat soalan you kena buat di rumah dan kemudian you submit through online system jugalah. Kita sekarang tengah dalam pembikinan untuk kita bukan buat soalan-soalan dah siap, cuma tinggal lagi untuk kita finalizekan platform yang kita nak gunakan. Kemungkinan besar kita akan gunakan Google Drive punya platform lah. Okay, Google Drive punya platform. Jadi kena sentiasa update lah. Nanti saya akan maklumkan. Kalau Google Drive maknanya you kena ada Google account lah. Jadi yang kepada pelajar yang belum ada Google account, you kena register lah pada Google account. Mungkin kita akan bagi selama 5 jam untuk jawab soalan final. Sebenarnya 3 jam untuk kalau ikutkan final face to face, dia kena jawab dalam masa 3 jam. Tapi kita bagi ample time kepada pelajar untuk mungkin download soalan dan juga untuk upload balik soalan. So lepas dah siap, kemudian dia kena upload dia punya soalan. Macam mana method tu nanti kita akan beritahu, maklumkan kemudian. Kalau ada you mungkin kena buat macam yang hari tu ke, you tangkap gambar dan sebagainya, itu kita akan maklumkan kemudian lah. So hopefully kalau ikutkan kepada apa yang kita dah buat sebelum ni, masa saya dari segi coursework tu kebanyakan pelajar okey lah, dapat skor untuk subjek CAO ni. Jadi saya harap ada lebih ramai lah yang akan dapat A ataupun B untuk kali ni. Okey, kita proceed dengan agenda kita pada pagi ni. Kita start dengan saya sharekan skrin saya. Nampak tak?
Nampak bro.
Okey.
Okey,
yang ini adalah soalan final exam. Ini saya dah share lah sebelum ni dengan kamu. Soalan final exam untuk 2018 ni, maknanya yang tahun lepas ni, Jun 2019. Okey, untuk soalan objektif untuk kali ni pun masih ada lagi soalan objektif untuk final. So saya tak nak pergi go through pada soalan objektif lah. Hopefully you boleh baca sendirilah. most of them is objective question, and you need to read from this is the theory part lah. So we just concentrate on the subjective questions. So question 31 is discovered during topic chapter 1. This is chapter 1. So this is chapter 6. Okay, we start with question 32. About this is about bus. A bus is a shared communication link. It uses one set of wire to connect multiple substation. So discuss on advantage and disadvantage of bus system. So untuk bus system, kalau you tengok dekat ni adalah you punya bus system lah. So dia nak tahu berkaitan dengan advantage and disadvantage you punya bus system. Okay, ini adalah advantage dah bus system, versatile. You just need to have discuss one advantage and one disadvantage of the bus system. Okay, kat sini ada advantage, versatile. In terms of new device can be added easily. Can imagine that if you have a device, for example, like a PCI device, you can just plug and play to the bus system. So it's easy to. So it's worth and it's considered as a versatile for the versatility. And peripheral can be moved between computer system that use same bus standard. If you can imagine that, for example, you have a video card. If you want to play game or something like that, so you just plug and play. Graphic card, later you can. Graphic card also they have. This is in terms of bus system. Okay, so you can. This is what I call it as a versatility lah. Okay, the second one is low cost, and because this question is just need one advantage, one disadvantage. Okay, you can select either one lah. Versatility or low cost. Or you want to put both also can, but we just consider one answer. But the most important thing is explanation. And don't just put versatility. If the mark is 4 marks, just give you just give 2 marks for advantage. The another 2 marks for supposed to be they have one advantage, 2 marks, and the other one disadvantage, 2 marks. But if we just put one like this one, versatility, you just get 1 mark lah. Instead of if you put what I call explanation, so you get 2 marks. One for the advantage, and the other one is explanation about your advantage. Okay, for disadvantage is create communication bottlenecks, or the other one is maximum bus speed. So you can you can select do you want communication bottleneck or maximum bus speed with explanation. So this is page 6. Page 6 in chapter 5. Input output. So all is in the slide lah. So I think no need to write down the. If you want to put for example versatility. then you need to explain. This is for advantage lah. Okay, just like that. Okay, the next is about they have two methods of bus arbitration. Explain the methods. So for bus arbitrations, you can refer to this part lah. Bus arbitration. For bus arbitration, why you need bus arbitration? Because it's related to bus structure lah. So they have arbiter. So please again, you have to imagine that they need arbiter. So for arbiter method, arbitration method, they have two, the centralized and decentralized. So what you need to explain is you have to explain about centralized method and decentralized method. For centralized method, hardware arbiter, they need hardware arbiter. For decentralized method, they have no arbiter. So this is two different for arbitration methods. For centralized, centralized bus arbitration required hardware arbiter that we grant the bus to one of the request device. Whereas for the decentralized, they do not need arbiter, and the input output have to decide who goes next. And so this is the difference between these two. Okay, between these two methods. Okay. Okay. So you know, right? The answer you can get from the slide this one. Arbiter mentioned. Okay. Centralized. They have a hardware arbiter. Decentralized, no hardware. But please explain in detail. Okay, next is DMA. Okay, this is part number C here. DMA controller is special control. You need to transfer block of data directly between I/O device and the main memory without continuous intervention from the processor. So DMA is very specialized. Very special because you can what they call transfer data from I/O to the main memory without any what they call intervention from the processor. So you can for the first start, I mean for the first assignment, you must have permission from the processor. Later on, after you get the permission from processor, you can transfer data from the IO device to the main memory, without any monitoring from the processor after that. So this is the what I call the special of the DMA lah. Otherwise, every time you want to send the data from the IO device to the memory, you must ask, you must request to the processor. After you stop, you have to ask again to the processor. So this is different between DMA and without DMA. Okay. So elaborate briefly the operation of DMA. So you can refer to slide about the DMA. Direct memory. This is DMA. Direct memory address. So this is the operation for DMA. So processor initiate. So for the first process, processor need to initiate DMA process first. The second one is DMA controller perform the and manage data transfer until finish. So DMA controller, and then interrupt from the processor to notify transfer is complete. So this is DMA operation for transfer data from IO device to the main memory. So this is to answer for this part. Okay. Just put like this one now. Page this page 38. 38 input output. For this one, saya harap you all pun check you punya slide you punya final exam punya soalan jadi mudah lah. Okay, so we proceed with figure 32. Figure question 32 show the input output block. Input output interface module consists of 3 main sub-module. Label number 1, 2, and 3. Write the name of the sub-module. Okay, so for this one, I think you can refer to this one. Page berapa? Ini page 66. So for this number 1 is address decode. Number 2 is control circuit, and number 3 is data ancestors register. So this is page 66. Okay. Okay, so we finish with input-output questions. So we proceed with memory. So this is the memory. Okay, compare three major difference between static RAM and dynamic RAM. Okay, so you can refer to the slide for static and dynamic. So what is different between static and dynamic? What different? For static, okay, for your information, for static, of course, static fast lah, okay. In terms of speed, for process, for static RAM, it's fast lah, okay. How about capacity? In terms of capacity, static RAM, large or slow? Large or big? Dia punya capacity lebih besar ke ataupun kecil?
Kecil.
Okay. Kalau bandingkan dengan DRAM lebih kecil lah. Okay. So yang ni lebih besar lah kan. Okay, untuk SRAM dia punya power consumption
tinggi.
Power consumption sebenarnya untuk SRAM adalah lebih rendah low sebab dia low sebab untuk DRAM dia ada proses untuk charge. Jadi as comparison untuk static lebih rendah berbanding dengan DRAM lah. Dan untuk cost expensive ke ataupun low cost? Static lebih mahal sebab dia perlu ada 6 komponen kan, dia perlu ada 6 gate logic berbanding SDRAM dia perlu 2 saja kan. Ini kita dah tengok lah okay. So yang ni nanti boleh isi sendiri lah low cost in term of low power consumption, dynamic RAM lebih low lah, okay. Okay, then number 2, referring to figure question 34 So yang ni you boleh tengok dekat sini memory hierarchy So they have a processor, inside processor they have a register and also cache. Main memory and to the memory, external memory. Okay. So if you do comparison, is this one. So what is X? X tu apa? X ni adalah cache, cache memory. Kalau you bandingkan dengan yang ni, register, tapi dia ada primary cache and secondary cache lah, tapi kita anggapkan dia sebagai this one is a cache memory lah. Okay, main memory and also magnetic. This is the external memory lah. Okay, so this is cache. So what is characteristic for element X? Apa dia punya features ataupun characteristic of X? Apakah features cache memory ni? Apa dia punya faedah ni? Apa dia punya, apa tu karakteristik? Small in capacity kan? Kalau you tengok kat sini, small in capacity. Kemudian small excellency, maknanya dia cepat kan? Seperti yang kita dah belajar, kita letak cache memory tu sebab dia dah ada dalam memory. Kemudian bila you pergi lagi sekali, you nak guna balik, dia memang dah ada dalam cache memory. Jadi in term of speed untuk dia fetch ataupun dia nak ambil balik, itu lebih mudah lah berbanding dia kena pergi ke memory, pergi cari lagi data tersebut kan. Tapi kalau dia ada dalam cache memory, dia just check kat cache dan dia ambil data tu masukkan ke untuk proses lah, input output ke ataupun kepada memory. Jadi yang ini lah dia punya tujuan cache memory lah. So cache memory so dia punya features adalah small, very fast memory. So dia punya features yang lain adalah dia boleh deliver data as fast as possible. So in term of speed, of course fast memory, small and fast memory. So this is the main characteristic for the cache memory lah. So you boleh letak kat sini lah. Ini page berapa ni? Page 38. You boleh refer to page 38 lah. Page 38 memory, chapter memory. So maknanya you kena tengok dekat slide dalam slide memory lah. Okay, so kita proceed dengan C. Consider direct memory cache with features as in table question 34, C. So this is table 34C. Determine the term of miss penalty. Okay, inside the table question 34, they have item. This is the description lah. Total number of cache accessed by CPU 20 access. Total number of hit 18 access, hit times 6 nanosecond, miss penalty 80 nanosecond. So they ask for question number 1, the term miss penalty. What is miss penalty? So kalau you tengok kat sini miss penalty dia ada panggil hit, miss rate, miss penalty. Miss penalty, what is miss penalty? Total access time seen by processor when the cache miss occurred. So maksudnya masa total masa lah yang diambil oleh processor bila cache miss, maknanya bila cache miss occurred, bila cache miss tu tak, kalau cache miss tu berlaku lah, bila dia nak pergi cache dia tak boleh capai cache sebab dalam cache tu tak ada data yang diperlukan lah. So this is called as a miss penalty lah, total number yang diambil. This page 61. So you have to refer to page 61 lah. Page 61 memory, okay. Okay, heat rate, heat rate of system. Heat rate of system, you kena tengok lah berapa kadar heat dia. Kadar heat ni adalah total number of heat 18 bagi dengan 20. Total heat, total cache of access by CPU 20, ini 18 bagi dengan 20 lah. Heat rate 18 bagi dengan 20. Maknanya total number of heat bahagi dengan total number cache access by CPU. Maknanya you akan dapat kali dia dalam bentuk percentage lah. Jadi 100 dia dapat 80% lah. Ataupun 0.8 lah. Okay, miss rate. Miss rate punya formula you boleh tengok dekat slide. Okay, miss rate 1 tolak hit rate 1 tolak hit rate. So that's mean punya hit rate berapa?
0.8.
0.8 kan?
Ya, betul.
18 bagi 20 ni 90 kan? Sorry
90%.
90%. Okay, so jadi ataupun 0.9 lah. Kan? So 1 tolak 0.9. Dia dapat 0.1 ataupun 10% lah kan. Okay, itu miss rate lah. Okay, then average di ni panggil AMAT AMAT, average memory access time of system. Apa formula untuk ni? Untuk Ahmad adalah ini Ahmad. Hit time plus miss rate kali dengan miss penalty ya. Okey, yang ini adalah Ahmad punya formula lah.
Penalty.
Ahmad juga dengan hit time
Miss rate.
plus miss rate
Darabnya penalty.
miss penalty ya. Dia punya hit time apa? Hit time dia berapa? Ni hit time 6 nanosecond kan? Itu plus dengan miss rate berapa? Miss rate dia 0.1 kan? 0.1 kali dengan kali dengan 80 nanosecond. Apa? Plus betul. Yang 0.8 8 nanosecond campur dengan 6 nanosecond kan? Betul kan ni? 8 nanosecond campur 6 nanosecond dia dapat 14 nanosecond. Okey, boleh benda mudah je. Okey, kita proceed lagi. Kita proceed dengan C if the cache in patient 34B is replaced with new cache with performance of 97% hit rate and 5 nanosecond hit rate calculate dengan new Ahmad. So you nak cari new Ahmad dengan information yang baru ni, maknanya hit rate dia 97 dan juga hit time dia 5 nanosecond Tadi kita punya hit time tadi 6 nanosecond kan? Dan kita punya hit rate sebelum ni adalah 0.9 kan? Tapi yang ni dah baru punya hit rate So you punya Ahmad adalah barulah. Ahmad baru 5 nanosecond campur dengan 97%. So you punya miss rate jadi 0.03 kan? Kali dengan 18 nanosecond. Tadi dapat apa? 0.80 2.4. So dia dapat 7.4 nanosecond. Okay? Okay. Okay boleh? Ni yang baru 5 nanosecond. 0.3 ni datang mana? Ni dekat sini 97%. So 97% that mean 0.03 lah yang dia punya miss rate dia kan. Kalau you dapat 90% macam ni tadi, miss rate ni tadi kan, dia nak kira hit rate kan, dia kira hit rate dia adalah 90%. Jadi dia punya miss rate dia 0.1. Tapi ni sekarang hit rate dia adalah 97. So miss rate dia adalah 0.03 kan. Jadi miss rate adalah 0.03 multiply with 80 nanosecond dia masih yang samalah miss penalty. So 5 nanosecond plus 0.3 multiply with 80 nanosecond, so you get 7.4 nanosecond lah. This is the new cache performance for the 97% hit rate with 5 nanosecond hit rate. So new value of format. Okay, so I save this one. Okay, nanti saya akan share kemudian lah. Ini 9 Jun. Okay, so we try to proceed the other one question final exam 17, 18 So that's been last 2 years lah. Okay, ni kita buat satu lagi exercise 17, 18 So habis ni kita stop lah. Because for today tutorial we just concentrate on chapter IO and also memory. Okay, so kita rehat sekejap Kita rehat sekejap, saya dalam 5 minit, kemudian kita sambung balik. Boleh?
Boleh, Terima kasih.